What's going on, everybody? Welcome into the Jack Ramsays Pregame Show. I'm your host, Danny Morington, as always, by Brandon Sprague. And so Friday night news dumps. It's becoming
let's talk about the depth of the Los Angeles Lakers tonight.
and how it's not there. Everybody's sitting here like, so what's going on?
So I didn't know how we wanted to approach this. We're taping a mailbag tomorrow, and I'm sure there's going to be a lot more. I know there's
between now and then, there's probably going to be something that comes out.
Oh, I don't think there will be by tomorrow.
No, not conclusively. I'm just saying that there will probably be something that comes out one way or another.
Well, in what way? Because I'm not sure we'll hear anything again until they conclude something with the investigation.
I think because I think the investigation is going to go on for a little while, I think you might get an administrative leave situation by Monday.
So, I guess we're just getting into it.
Yeah, no, we're just going to get right into it because nobody cares about the basketball until we address this stuff. So,
well, they should win this game. I mean, the Lakers.
They should theoretically win this game.
Yeah. That's a good way of putting it. So, I guess I was just a little confused. You alerted me to the news dump. I got off Twitter as soon as the game was over.
You were spending time with family, and I was like, bro, check Shams now.
I mentally was like, Dame has some weird injury. He's out for the year type stuff. My mind was not going to that. This is such a weird situation, and I know they're doing an investigation, so there's really only so much I think we can say.
Yes.
This is just weird. Like, I guess I don't understand why teams, if you've got multiple employees complaining about this kind of bully, narcissistic behavior that's been going on for over a decade. And by the way, it's been going on publicly. And I've also heard from people, not that I'm super sourced with this team, but I've heard from employees like he is every bit the asshole behind the scenes as he is publicly to people. And so I guess I'm just confused. Maybe this is the Jody Allen part of this. Why don't you just fire him? And if he's going to file some kind of grievance or whatever, then deal with it. But like, they are basically holding on to a guy who's mediocre. Like, this is a mediocre general manager that you're sitting here debating what you want to do with him based on an investigation.
But there's probably $20+ million that's hanging out there. Probably more, to be honest.
So basically a way to not have to pay him.
As I understand it, that's
okay.
Certainly on the table. My phone has not stopped since the report went out last night. I'm trying to think of what I can and can't say. So, there's always theories. I mean,
sure.
Listen, sure. I can get the tinfoil hat on right now because I got some tinfoil hat stuff from.
Oh, I have a tinfoil hat thing too.
Oh, we gonna okay. We'll get right into it.
I mean,
screw it. We'll get right into the conspiracy.
I don't have journalistic integrity, buddy. I don't write anything.
What's your conspiracy theory here?
I'm thinking they know that this product is absolute dog shit. I think they know Dame hates playing for this dude. He didn't make the roster better. I think they know where they stand. And Dame's about to maybe sit out a game or two, be injured. And so how do we get rid of this dude without him pay his buyout? I'm sure I'm not downplaying the bad work environment stuff.
Yeah.
Don't misconstrue that. But I think it's interesting. I couldn't help but go there with like, now some of the workplace environment stuff is going to be vetted, because if you look at it and you want to get rid of this dude, not pay him a dime, and we know that the Vulcans are clearly trying to figure out their finances in terms of spending too much or whatever. I don't know. It kind of lines up to me.
Okay, so going through everything, and then I don't think that's not even that far out there when it comes to what I heard last night.
Oh, okay.
Like I had some folks around the league who have insinuated that it's another ownership group that forced this.
Okay, so
to force Dame out.
That's an interesting theory.
Like I said, I've heard some.
Wait. Did you say to force Dame out or him?
To force Dame out, basically to make it so untenable because of everything that has gone over the last 6 months, where Dame just like, nah, I'm out.
So a new ownership group would want to basically restart?
No. a rival ownership group who wants Damian Lillard out of Portland.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm an idiot. I was misconstruing that. My bad.
So
that's deep, and I kind of like it.
Yeah, no, so I was saying, I have heard some wild stuff. It's one of those things where that would be a definite this league, #this league, but it wouldn't also be the wildest thing I've ever heard about actually occurring in the NBA.
I wouldn't be stunned by that revelation.
To be clear, I do not believe that because, number one, I think that's a bridge too far for my brain to get to. Number two, I think it discounts the fact that people have felt a kind of way about Neil internally for some time. So when I look at this, my first thought was, well, somebody came forward. I hope they're okay. Everybody keeps asking me, what do I think about the situation? I want to be careful because I don't know how bad or not bad things got. We don't have the specifics behind it, but the one thing that I have heard was that once it unlocked, more people came forward, as this kind of thing typically does. The report this morning was basically that the investigation was reaching out to former employees, and it sounds like they're almost like cold calling former employees to see what kind of environment this was, which, let's be honest, that doesn't bode well for Neil if they're calling up former employees.
Yeah.
I mean, how many arrows are you willing to take for any of your former bosses? And this isn't like a Neil specific thing. This is just like a general, are you going to go, fall on a sword for your former boss?
No, if anything, I should have did what these people have done.
So, in that regard, I would say it's probably not good news. At least I would assume at this point. From what I understand from people who are relatively plugged in, this is not going away anytime soon. It will probably take a couple weeks to go through, and do not be surprised to see Neil go on administrative leave. That's as far as I know right now. And it makes sense if he is under investigation, whether it turns out that he comes back or he is terminated, to go on administrative leave, to not be around the team, to not have anything else kind of forcing that. But by God, Brandon, this is 6 months of hell for this organization. It's just one thing after another, and that's what kind of leads me to believe it's going to be done, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was, I think this is still separate. I know people kind of put them together. That's why, for me, I didn't need 20 games for the situation. Like, the 20 games to me is about seeing what's different from one coach.
The basketball.
The last guy. It's the actual basketball. This is stuff that it's been building and they've been punting on it. And I think we know definitively that had Paul not, kind of suddenly passed, it came out of left field for a lot of people, he for sure would have been fired before now. I mean, this dude wouldn't be he basically, what did we see this summer? It felt like he was almost the owner himself. Like, he dictated everything and he wanted to run all this back. And you could it was starting to leak into the basketball. And that's when I think, it came to a head. And it was a bombshell in I wasn't expecting it to come out or happen, but it's not surprising to hear that it happened with who it happened with.
Yes. And to clarify, some people were at the game last night. Neil Olshey was at the game last night. Jody Allen was at the game last night. I think part of the reason why this hammer dropped, as I understand it, is that whoever filed it with HR, and it went up to the league office, and it got back to the Blazers very quickly, as in it happened last night.
If it happened during the game, like she contacted Neil and said, "Hey, what is this?" I wouldn't be shocked.
That's, as I understand it right now, that's how it went. And that's why people may or may not have seen Neil and Jody at the game. Listen, if Neil would not be in that building if that had been known.
Right.
I mean, let's not forget, Neil was banned from the sideline for flipping off the refs a couple of years ago. If he was under investigation for fostering a toxic workplace that made it up to the NBA's office, particularly with what's going on with Robert Sarver and Adam Silver's desk, I guarantee you Neil Olshey would not be in that bleeping building.
Yeah.
And I think it needs to be said, you need to divorce the Robert Sarver stuff from Neil Olshey. I've already seen some people.
Way different situations.
Very, very, very different situations.
Yeah.
Both shitty. Don't get it twisted, but very different situations.
Right.
So, yeah, we'll keep monitoring it.
It's kind of weird, man, because like I know they have a game tonight. I still think
it's going to be a specter over
win.
this, 100%.
But this is going to be There's a cloud over this team now until they reach the conclusion of this.
And that's the thing is, like, I think that same cloud was there 8-10 months ago with Terry.
I don't disagree at all.
And I think it's going to affect the team.
I think they came in with the cloud. It's Dame future uncertainty. It's, hey, we're running this back. It's, this team's been having
the elephant in the room. Everybody just keeps it. Don't pay no attention. Pay no attention. Pay no attention. Well, guess what? Now you have to pay attention to all of it, because now instead of, hey Dame, where you going? Hey Dame, what's going on with your boss? What does this mean for your future? What does this mean
this
for
is great
CJ
news.
McCollum?
This is great news.
But I mean, as far as like people asking Dame, now it's another issue on his plate. And this one he didn't have anything to do with.
How many tonight are we going to get if the question's asked?
The first question tonight is going to be about this.
Right, but how many, I'll put the over-under at half, are going to answer it with, I never saw any of that, but, you know what I mean? Like taking the, I had a great relationship with him take. Because you saw that with Sarver, right? And I know it's not the same.
I don't.
That's CJ's boy, man. Like that dude was reluctant.
CJ's the NBA PA president. I think he's going to walk the line. I would imagine Dame no comments it. Or
I hope he doesn't.
I don't think he's going to company line I've never seen that, because that's if you're a current player and you're doing that, that doesn't go over well for anybody.
It's I just don't. Do you see a scenario where we've investigated internally and we've placed him on
administrative leave,
1 month suspension? He's still the general manager. Do you see that playing out where he doesn't lose his job?
So I've asked around and I have not gotten a response from anybody that tracks. Has anybody recently, last 5-6 years, been investigated and stayed on anywhere in the league? I haven't been able to find any. So I think the writing's on the wall.
I mean, a general manager lost his gig in Philadelphia for having a burner account. A burner account's bad, but like it's not having a toxic workplace. That's worse. So
another one lost their job for an inappropriate relationship in the workplace. So we're not exactly talking about unprecedented waters of like, you don't have to go to the level of Donald Sterling or Robert Sarver,
right?
Or allegedly with Robert Sarver. Let me make sure I'm clear. That it goes that sideways. So my brain says he's likely done, but this organization has had a pretty shitty record recently with accountability and responsibility.
Show. Yep.
So I can't not kick that door open. It's just one of those things where it's like, I'd like to believe that if the findings are there, that they do what they need to do. But on the flip side, if it turned out that it was unfounded, which again I find a little hard to believe, but
they're going to have way too. You said they're talking to former employees too, Danny. They're going to have way too many employees, because even if they weren't personally like yelled at, right? In the report, he was basically like yelling at people in person at people. Even if somebody didn't have that happen to them, they witnessed it, they saw it, and they knew in their minds.
I've heard stories like Neil being an a-hole is not.
No, it tracks.
Like, yeah, no, that's the thing is like as it's been told to me, he doesn't have a ton of friends in the league because the people he treats well, and the people he doesn't, he treats like crap. So, I
was kind of pissed about it because whether the dude loses his job, I think we're all going to be a certain bit excited. this guy for over a decade has been selling about how he can only do certain moves because of culture. I'm a culture guy. Hey, Jace, we've established a culture reportedly built on treating people absolutely shitty and making them feel worthless and making them feel stupid.
Yeah.
In instances, you didn't need to do that. And by the way, he did that to the media. And you can sit there and watch this and go, well, I hate the media. That's fine. You hate the media. I'm not going to change.
But he
your
also
mind
does
on
this
that.
behind the scenes.
But yes, this is who he has been publicly. And I think a lot of people are aware that this is who he is privately. So,
which is really weird because this is a guy who is a former actor turned workout guy who took over in LA for a very bad Clippers team.
Mm-hmm.
You would think that he would have a modicum of respect or decorum.
Who did he work under in LA?
Sterling.
Oh, he worked under another shitty person. Oh, that's right. It's probably the soap opera acting that made him an absolute a-hole.
Well, both.
I mean, I think there's a level of narcissism with somebody like that anyway.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're a failed actor. You already have narcissistic tendencies, I'd imagine. But no, the other thing I was going to say is it's not just like this preaching of culture and you're quietly building a shitty culture behind the scenes in your front office. It's also the fact that the team allowed this to go on. And it's also the fact that this dude was allowed to make the last coaching hire. And it's in the middle, nearing more the back end of Dame's prime, that he's been the dude in charge for roster construction, and he's largely done nothing.
And I think if you're getting to the basketball side of things, that's where the frustration is. Let's say that this is done for Neil. Again, I'm not saying it is. I'm just saying hypothetically. Now what? You're going to bring in a new GM. Who's going to be the interim in the meantime? Is it going to be Rosie? Is it going to be Branch? Two guys who I don't think would step into that. Is it going to be their director of player personnel? Is it going to be Cronin? Is it going to be their analytics guy? Or are they going to go out of house? Are they going to go try and bring back Chad Buchanan, or Dennis Lindsay is out there, or Danny Ainge is out there? There was plenty of talk about who they may or may not go get. But you're bringing them in, and what's their goal? Is Chauncey their coach? What's their vision for this team? What's the relationship with Jody? Is it going to be the same thing? It's so many things. The cloud just gets so much bigger before it gets any clearer. The one thing I could say that you can probably assume is that reservations about trading certain personnel would probably go away.
Oh, it's absolutely out the door. I mean, that was my other thing, is it was like that bit of optimism or positivity. It was like, well, if he's gone, now we can finally make some moves, because you can't come into this situation and go, yeah, everything's great. He set this up perfectly. No, there's obviously movement to be made, and I don't know who they get. If they go get a big recognizable name or a name that not a lot of us
What
know.
happens when you fire an asshole coach? What do teams do?
The teams tend to perform a little better, go the opposite way.
But what do they bring in afterwards?
The non-asshole?
So what do you do with the GM?
Go the non-asshole route?
That's what I'm saying. You go get a guy who is a bucket of smiles.
Sure.
Hey!
But I want somebody good, and this is where I'm concerned. Is that group capable of identifying who a good general manager would be right now? It could be Danny Ainge, and that's pretty easy to do, but if Danny doesn't step up, if Danny's like, I don't really feel like doing day-to-day stuff, are you going to hire that right person?
That's the question. And again, there's names out there. Like I said, besides Ainge, Dennis Lindsay is still out there just collecting checks from the Jazz.
But who's telling Jody that's the hire? Because Jody's not making that decision. I don't give a shit what she says.
That's gonna fall on Bert Cold.
Cool. Oh, that gets me real excited.
To be fair,
yeah,
Vulcan was the one leading the charge this summer in a pursuit of Eric Spoelstra.
And how'd that turn out?
Okay, but
they didn't even out the general manager. The most obvious move, they didn't even make it.
Again, they went down the right path.
We're gonna have to agree to disagree on that one. I think the fact that you even brought him back was that was
insanity. You and I both agree.
Yeah.
But I think that they would at least look at the right names. I don't know if they'd land on it. I don't know if they.
Would somebody with the right name want this?
Yes, because it can go one of two ways. Either it's a full reset with Dame out the door. You've got
Dame's
a
like, I'm good.
truckload of capital.
Yeah.
Or you're getting 2-3 years of Damian Lillard, and you're probably getting, to be honest, a lot of grace. Even though the pressure's on to do something, if you come in and you deal CJ in the first 3-4 months and you get a decent return for him, you're sitting pretty. But also at the same time, you're the guy that probably has to deal Damian Lillard, which is a kick in the teeth.
Or you make that move and that move ends up being really good, and he kind of sees like, hey, maybe there's another path to this. There's some other moves they make this summer. Like, I don't know if it's completely impossible, and I know he's reaffirmed his commitments multiple times, but I kind of did view this as if somebody can come in and make those right moves, I think that could be enough to maybe sway him and say, all right, I'll give this 2 more years.
Like, I genuinely believe that's the case.
Yeah.
I genuinely believe if they made a move, if they made a real move that was like, okay, like a Jimmy Butler type, where all of a sudden he's just like, F it, I'm out of here. That kind of situation, and Portland was able to capitalize. Because there's been one of those guys basically every year for the last 5 years. Yeah. One of those guys, Draymond Green's like, nah, man, I know things are going well here, but you're not paying. Right. I know my next contract's up, and you're not paying. Get me out of here. And they're able to get Dre for, 75 cents on the dollar, something along those lines. Not only does that make sense for Portland, it's one of Dame's very good friends, and it makes them better. So, again, there's a lot of different ways we can slice this. Everybody is in here for the pregame right now because we're talking about this, and nobody cares about the game right now. That's what's insane.
I think this game's gonna suck anyway. The Lakers are trash without LeBron.
So you say that, and it's gonna go sideways for the Lakers tonight. So let's at least spend a few
there's
minutes.
No doubt. Yeah, they're not. It's not like I'm acting like they're a title winner here. I think this Laker team without LeBron is and potentially AD, right? Isn't he still questionable?
Yeah, let me check. Since I don't think I've seen.
If AD sits, I just. Please show me how awful Yusuf and CJ. God, I even think Ant would need to play to lose to that team without AD and LeBron.
Yeah, because they don't really have a ton of scoring. Russ is good to go, it looks like. Dwight Howard is probable. AD is still questionable, and you've got Ariza, THT, Braun, and Nunn are all out.
Yeah.
So I have not seen, if you guys are in the chat, if you guys have seen anything else while we've been talking, I have not seen anything else as far as who is or isn't out.
Right.
And I have not seen any starting lineups suggested quite yet. Let me check my Lakers guys. Nope. So, listen, the Blazers.
It's hard to talk about this game.
It is like it really is. I would just say the Blazers are fully capable of eating a shoe against the team missing everybody. We've already seen it twice this year. So, they let Korkmaz, Niang, and Seth Curry go absolutely ham on them. I could see Carmelo Anthony, Russ, and Malik Monk cooking them.
Come on. None of those guys are Korkmaz. Let's be honest here.
Listen, if Furkan Korkmaz played the Trailblazers every game, he would be an All-NBA player. If you look at his career stats and you look at them against Portland, it is absolutely insane.
So conversely, the way that Mike Allstott is maybe the greatest fullback name who ended up being a great fullback, I think Furkan Korkmaz has the worst basketball name in league history. Can you find a worse name where you went, no way somebody with that name was an NBA player?
Skitishvili?
Nah, Skitishvili sounded slick, man. A European wonder kid. Like, hey, who is that? He's that Skitishvili. Like, that sounds like...
I'm trying to think who else had a name where you're just like...
His name's Vergen, right?
Yeah.
Furkan. Mother Furkan Korkmaz, man. That's not an NBA name.
Ante Vizic. That's
not worse than Furkic
Korkmaz. Furkan.
Whatever.
Furkan.
This is my point.
You can't even keep it straight. God. Oh man. But again, this game tonight.
Ruben Boomshay is a better basketball name.
Boomshay is a dope name. And listen,
Great name.
Anytime you get the double name, especially like the alliteration double name like that,
Right.
that's fantastic.
Hassan Jin made more sense, man.
Yeah, that did. Screw it. Love it, like it, leave it.
I love that Neil's gone. I like. That's my love it. I'm not changing it. I don't give a shit.
I'm a Sammy Sosa this shit. God. What's your like it tonight, Sprig?
I'm not gonna act like I didn't Michael Jordan fist pump when I read that tweet last night. Like,
just walking through the house shrugging.
I almost like took my phone like this, and as I was reading, I'm walking, and I almost tiger fisted it, like walked that tweet right into existence, man. Like, oh yeah,
get the crowd roar. I did see somebody tweet the Blazers fan reaction, and it's the outlook over the I think it's a soccer match. Like a bunch of people are watching in a pavilion, and all the beers just go up in the air all at once.
That's like we should have morphed the tweet onto that big screen.
Oh, the big screen bar shot, yeah.
When they're all like,
just put a little clip of Blazers basketball, or just kind of builds, and then just flash the tweet just right there, and then it just goes absolutely bonkers.
All right, so my love it is Neil's gone. My like it is CJ McCollum. Dame is not going to sit tonight. I can't believe that nobody stepped in to say, dude, you got to sit. So CJ, we're going to need you to be even a little better than you were last night. Be a little more efficient. Move the ball. And then my leave it's pretty simple. Just show up. Like, leave the bad effort at the door and come out the way you did last night. And I know they allowed them to get back into that game, but they came out with good energy. There was a good start. There was a good focus.
There was 2 quarters of meh,
out.
but there was a quarter and a half of, hey, that's better.
Yeah.
Which, that's a quarter and a half more than they got out of 10 of 12 quarters on the road trip. So, baby steps. My love it, I'm going to go a little bit different here. I'm going to go with Damian Lillard's leadership. It's going to be tested, not only tonight, but for the next couple weeks. Mentally, emotionally, physically. Again, physically, I don't think he's right. Mentally, this is another brick on those shoulders.
Mm-hmm.
Emotionally, what does this mean for him now? What does this mean for him going forward? What does this mean for the team? How do you hey guys, we can't worry about that bullshit. You know, we got to go out and play. We got to carry the mantle tonight. For me, this is what Damian Lillard gets paid $45 million a year for, is to be that dude. So we'll see how it goes. My like it. Listen, I've got to find something in this season that I don't hate. It's gonna be Anthony Simons.
You're just gonna put in every time. I love it or leave it. Or like it.
I'm going to, because he is that fire in the darkness right now, where you're just like, every time. Have you seen him touch the floor and been like, that's not fun?
No. Every time he gets in, I'm like, thank God.
Yeah, and it's just he does something new. He does something unexpected. His development continues to grow, and it's like in a season that it's just been a bunch of people just kicking, somebody in the gut over and over and over again. He has been the guy going, hey, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay.
Hey, friend,
it's gonna be okay. Pat you on the head, and then somebody else comes over and kicks you in the gut again. You're like, it's not gonna be okay. But he comes in there and makes you feel good. Nas does that too, and I hope that he can find some more minutes here. My leave it is gonna be leave the nonsense at the door. Check whatever's going on. It's easier said than done, because here's the thing: these players, they know the personnel with the team, and they understand they're not that divorced from personnel, right? So being able to separate that stuff and go out and do your job, but also be people. So that's where I'm going to go tonight. Let's see if they can mentally kind of carry that same. Basically, I'm saying go out there, handle business, and then let's have some fun. Like that's kind of like what I'm just kind of I'm hanging on to strings at this point, man.
Well, I think on that, leadership thing, I think that's great, but there's an element here where we've seen in football recently, coaches get fired and teams come out and you go, oh, they don't have their coach, and they end up playing well. Like Washington State did this. We just had the Raiders do this.
Mm-hmm.
There's an element that you could easily talk me into that there is going to be a little, we're going to finally start over here. Like this, maybe not from every player.
That may be there for a lot of guys. Hell, that could be there for Dame and CJ.
Well, I don't know about CJ because I think CJ would know that the next guy's probably dealing him. But I think for a guy like Dame, it's like, I haven't publicly really went at this dude. I've really held it together. I haven't been vocal at what he's done. But hallelujah. Like if you told me that was going through their minds a little bit with this news, and to your point, they know the personnel. So some of these people that may have told this, maybe they end up admitting some of this privately if they have good relationships. But I don't know. This could be one of those that ends up actually benefiting the team a little bit because there is that air with that dude, no matter what you think. Like that dude has energy that's kind of just like super intense. I'm the smartest guy in the room. You're an idiot if you disagree with me. Like anytime you get rid of that, it's just like it's like,
so like again, it's that can Dame take those bricks building up on his shoulder and be okay with it for because somebody's going to have to carry that burden until something happens. And as much as it doesn't seem fair, that's what you get half of $100 million for. That's part of what comes with that. And sometimes it sucks. And I'll be honest, right now it sucks. It's easy to be like, oh, if you gave me that money, I'd deal with that. Listen, I would not want to be Damian Lillard for the last 6 months. Genuinely, I would not. It's what he has had to do and endure mentally, physically, emotionally. That's a lot, man. And it just hasn't relented. And so, again, all the money in the world, all that stuff, man, but he's kind of been through a bit of a ringer as far as, like, it just being one thing after another. So, hopefully he can just kind of figure it out as far as the basketball side of things. And not even just for him, but for the team right now. Yeah. So, we'll kind of wrap it up here, guys. We'll follow up here's the thing. If you guys want to get questions in for the Mailbag Pod, start submitting them now. I'm sure there's going to be a ton of Olshey stuff, and we'll probably dive more concentrated into particular questions tomorrow. Sprague and I will record tomorrow afternoon. You can send them to @DannyMeringue, @JackRamsays. If you want to send them to Sprague, @Brandon Sprague. He'll send them to me, and I'll put them in the list. JackRamsays@gmail.com. Again, we will be following tonight's game. We'll have the Jack Ramsays post-game show. If anything happens between now and then, I don't think it will, but we will have more news then, so make sure you're there. Like, rate, review, subscribe for the podcast, and if you're sitting here watching the pregame show, thank you all very, very much. Please click the subscribe button if you haven't already. The channel keeps growing and growing and growing. We're just about ready to break 1,800, I believe, subscribers, so we're on track to hit 2,000 by Thanksgiving, and you guys, that's because of you guys. So thank you all so very much. Hopefully, for the love of God, the Blazers can
please just beat the Lakers tonight.
Please, as I just said, I just took the over, Sprague, 223.
Oh yeah, give me the over all day. By the way, I don't think the over hit yesterday, did it?
No. I'm glad I didn't take the parlay. So
because Pacers plus the 5.5 though.
5.5 did. They covered, baby. Sprague and I, as soon as the game was over, covered.
Blazer win, Pacer cover.
You'll love to see it. So we'll be on immediately following tonight's postgame, guys, or immediately following the game tonight for the Jack Ramsays postgame. And in the meantime, let's go chill, relax, enjoy, watch the game, have some fun. That's all I'm gonna like. We're not even 10 games into the season. I'm already like, ooh. So we'll catch you guys